Hello, I'm attorney Karen Conti. I've been a practicing lawyer for over 25 years. Are you thinking about getting married? Before you take that walk down the aisle, you may want to consider a prenuptial agreement. Now, some people think that prenuptial agreements are just for movie stars and millionaires, but I believe that everyone should have a prenuptial agreement. Marriage is the most important contract you'll ever enter into. You should know the terms of that contract and put them in writing. You should also know what happens when that contract ends. It's a fact of life that divorce is very common and that over 50% of all married couples end up in divorce. Second and third marriages are not uncommon, and divorces from those marriages have increased. A prenup is a good way to ensure predictability and plan your future with more security. One of the most common goals in entering into a prenup is to protect the property that you've acquired before the marriage. For instance, if you own a home before you get married, you may want to make sure that it belongs to you should the marriage end. All kinds of agreements can be included in your prenup, such as who owns a business or other asset that might be acquired during the marriage, and who is responsible for the debts incurred during the marriage. Another common goal of a prenup is to make sure that your property passes to your children from a previous marriage or other family members rather than your spouse. In marriages where there's one larger income earner, the other spouse may be entitled to maintenance, which used to be called alimony. That's basically support paid to a spouse for living expenses. In the prenup, you can agree that maintenance won't be paid, or you can provide that it will be paid, how much, and for how long. You hear a lot about divorcing people trying to break the prenup in court. The question is, are prenups always enforceable? And the answer is not always. The two things that make a prenup enforceable are, first, a full disclosure of the party's assets and debts prior to signing the agreement. The second is that the prenup is conscionable at the time it is entered into. So, if you're going to enter into a prenup, you'll need to prepare and supply full financial disclosure of assets, liabilities, retirement accounts, and insurance policies. If that's not done, and there's later a challenge, the judge will be much more likely to strike the prenup if it can be shown that there was a hiding of assets, debts, or lack of full disclosure. The prenup must be conscionable, which just means fair and equitable. If the prenup is so one-sided that it leaves one party destitute or with an unfair amount of resources, the court may not enforce it. Enforcement of a prenup is much more likely if both parties are represented by competent attorneys. The courts assume that the parties were fully advised of their legal rights when they willingly and knowingly entered into the terms. Talking about divorce when you're getting married doesn't sound optimistic, but marriage is a partnership with real financial ramifications. You owe it to yourself and your loved one to discuss these issues and agree upon terms that you can both rely upon. If you'd like more information, please email me at the address on the screen. I'm Karen Conti. Thank you for watching.